Welcome back. It's good to be back after a while. And yes, I got a very exciting and important guest in the house. He's no stranger to us. He has been on my show before. In fact, he's the one who started. I would say he's the catalyst. Who started my show initially. He was on my very first show, and it's good to have this man back on the show to discuss on a very interesting topic, which is cricket and politics. And I think it's very relevant at the moment. What's happening after a very interesting election. He's a man, I would say that perhaps the best coach I have worked in Sri Lanka. Amazing cricketing brains, and if anyone requires any technical assistance, anyone involved with the game, he's the man to go for. It's a bit unfortunate that we don't have his services at the moment, but hopefully now we will have him back, and which is our the only wish and our only prayer, to have him back on the scene as soon as possible. And I wish him well. And to bring him on, ladies and gentlemen, none other than Mr. Avishka Gunawardene, a former Test cricketer, brilliant coach, good friend, and an amazing human being. Let me bring Avi on the screen. Avi, morning to you, mate.
Morning. How's your
How are you
Sunday?
doing? Sunday is fine. Good to have
Or
you
rather,
back.
how's your Saturday night?
Pretty quiet. Pretty quiet. Just didn't go out. Decided to stay back and enjoy our favorite brew. Just to keep things going.
Uh,
Um Now excited. The season starting tomorrow, so thought give my old bones a break and just relax. And good to have you on the show, mate. And yeah,
yeah,
good
you
morning.
too.
Oh, good morning to another Anandian listening all the way from USA. Say good morning, Lalitaya. Good to have you on the show. Whatever you need to ask, Avishka is here, and Lakshman Kalupana, already people. There's so many people joining. Welcome to the show. Avi, just get on track, mate. That just on our topic, the election. Just say what do you think? Did anything extraordinary happen other than your expectations? I think we had to make things easy for you. We kind of predicted that it's going to be a one horse race, and there's no competition whatsoever. And it's like playing a game of cricket. It's more like a game of book cricket. Every time you turn a page, you see 70%, and that eventually it became a bit of a joke, and just uh, without any competition, that's how the game went. But all credit to the winners. I think it's a massive win. As we always say, win is a win, no matter how. The people who did not vote, or who did not bother to participate, and who decided to stay out of politics, and whatever, that's their problem. But all credit goes to the ruling party and to the prime minister and the president. And we are all eagerly waiting to see what's on offer for Sri Lanka, and for all of us. And I hope they're good, and I wish them well. What are your thoughts, Avi, about the election?
we just saw the swearing in of the Prime Minister just about
Yes,
an hour ago. I think I think the biggest surprise was UNP. I mean, just let's be honest.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
yeah, we always thought. I mean, everyone knew that they were not going to get they were going to win, or they were not going to get as much as people expected. But
Yes.
this result was a big surprise to me. The biggest surprise was that, I mean, losing out without a single seat. Of course, they have got one seat
Through the
uh,
national list.
the national list, but my God, I mean, the single biggest party that was in Sri Lanka to
Sure.
go without a seat, that's to me was the biggest surprise here. And I think the voter turnout. I mean, I didn't. A lot of people didn't expect like a 60-70% turnout because
Right.
of the COVID thing and all that. So yeah, to me, the biggest surprise was what happened to UNP.
As a top coach, and I mean, you always have I know how you prepare yourself, before a big game. Your I think, to me, your hallmark, is that you kept things pretty simple. and even training and even our team meetings, everything, you kept it, to bare minimal, and you never stressed the boys. Where do you think UNP, where do you think, where they went wrong in this election?
Oh, well, not you can't point your finger and say this is where they went wrong. This is where I think it was. I think it was coming. I think to be brutally honest, as I always am, I think people just went out there and just basically rejected Mr. Vikramasinghe. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's,
I
I
think,
don't think
yeah.
they rejected the party. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I don't think they rejected the party. A lot of people didn't go and vote because they thought UNP didn't deserve the vote,
Yeah.
and I think they just simply rejected the leader of the party. I don't think they rejected the party.
Right. Yeah. Well, a very good point. Just again, big hi to, lots of people. Lakshman, Kalu, Patirana. Yes. Good morning to you all the way from Aussie. Vasanta Rana Singh, all the way from Kenya. Chaminda Jayanath. Yes. Good to have you. Vasanta Rana Singh. Nice to see. Avishka. Niranja Sampath. Apriyo Mataga Nadda. Matakai Matakai. Always. We never forget people. And Prasad Jayasingh, excellent. Good to have you. Amit, good to have you on the show, mate. As always. Avi, just an observation that I made. That we saw that. You spoke about the voter turnout. You reckon the main reason for less people to turn out, is it because of the COVID, or people lost interest, in politics? Because why I'm saying that. You know that I coach a very young team at the moment, at BRC, and when I spoke to the boys, soon after the election, that I was surprised to see 90% of the kids, didn't bother to vote. And when I asked them, how come, boys, that's your democratic right, you should vote. And the guy said, sir, we have absolutely no trust in the system. And the one thing they pointed out, so what do we have to gain by following politics? And I think it's a very important point, because over the periodical, what the politicians and all parties have done, I think we have neglected this group of people, the kids from the age group between 18 to 23. Nothing has been done to them. I remember that the UNP, at least, they had a plan that, to give them free Wi-Fi or give them tabs, but unfortunately that did not materialize. And apart from that, these kids have nothing to look forward to. How I hope the new government will take a note of it and do something, for this is our future and the younger generation. Otherwise, in time to come, because let's face it, you and I are not getting younger every day, and these are the people who's going to carry the flag, in another 5-10 years down the line. And if they lost interest in the political scenario, the system that we have in place, that's going to be a huge issue. What are your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've lost interest as such. I mean, like you said before, it's the system that they don't trust. It's not the interest that they have lost, it's the system that they don't trust. And I've been talking to a lot of people, and even like you said, a lot of guys, a lot of boys who comes to me for coaching as well, some of the 19, 20-year-olds who are eligible for voting. One thing interesting, what one of the boys said, he said, "Sir, when my parents, when my father was like at my age, or when he was 20, 21, he first bought a motorbike, and few years later he bought a car,
Yeah.
and then he said at 30, 32, he has already built a house for himself,
Yes.
right? And what he said was, now especially boys who are in Colombo, they said we can't even afford to buy a car or a motorbike without having to go to the bank and getting a loan.
Sure.
And he said, forget getting a land and building a house,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, you and I, we both 2021, we love our motorbikes, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess we could afford to buy one, even
Sure.
doing like a simple, like an executive job, right? I was at a bank, you were with another institution, but
Yeah.
not big salaries, decent salary, but we still could, you know, maybe buy a motorbike, go out for a drink, you know. Uh, you could afford to do that. What they're saying is now you go to work and you pay this and pay that, and then there's no money, nothing to say. So
Interesting. Very
I guess
interesting. The
it's a
boys
very
are,
interesting
yes.
thing that what he said, which I didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying is perhaps, like, because, that what you're saying is like, we were always, that, we had our parents to take care of our basic needs. And perhaps, the one thing that I see these boys, well, for an example, most of the boys in my team, they are from outstations, and they have to find accommodation, which is costing them a lot. And they have to look after their own meals, and they're always broke. You are right. They don't have money to buy the basic necessities, and even, how hard it is for even for the guys who do not have contracts with Sri Lanka Cricket, and just to secure their equipment, to buy a pair of boots or a decent bat. So it's absolute constant struggle, out there for those boys, because they are not cheap either. And just it's a very good point, that as you rightly said, that we need to these boys, though they have much more freedom, perhaps, like what you and I didn't have, but they need a bit of cash in their hands as well, to make their life much easier and to get interested in what is going on.
And
Otherwise, it's become,
I mean,
yeah,
since if you're talking about cricketers, it's very difficult for them to go out there and get a job. I mean, when we were playing, all the mercantile institutions, banks would, I can remember the bank that I worked for when I was playing my last game for Ananda. They
yeah,
just sent me the appointment letter and got me signed while I was padded up to go in and bet just straight out of school. So I just walked into the bank.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
even if they do get recruited by some institution, it is simply because to play cricket and on a contract basis, and that contract is also for like the 3 months which they play that mercantile season only.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, as it is very hard to say that, I mean, good old days, the mercantile sector, as you rightly said, the banks, etc., etc. That no sooner, even same here. The day I left school, next day, I had a job, and I was very fortunate. And then thereafter, there were offers. The more runs we got, more jobs that came.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen anymore. The people, the institutions, don't recruit cricketers, and the young boys, so they look for academic qualification, so it becomes one big rat race, and people get neglected. I hope someday that the things will come back to normal, and things will be fine. And just again, David Cruz says, all the way from Australia, big hi to see you guys, and say hi to you, Avi.
Hi, David.
And yeah, Rajinder, hi son, how are you? Anton Pereira, what politics we are talking? Those thieves should be in the jail. Oh my God, yeah. Both were attacking opening batsmen from Ananda College. Chatur Jayasinghe, I love you both. Greetings, Bipin. What is Bipin? Sri Lanka players and selectors were recently given a chance to defend the 2011 World Cup final match fixing allegations. Why not? You also given an opportunity to be heard. Yes, Bipin, that we are working on it. Hopefully, Avi will get his chance as well. And Hachida, Kaushan, hi guys. I can't keep say hi to all these people who are joining us, but big hi to all of you once again. Avi, getting back to the the most interesting topic that we were going to discuss today, cricket and politics. We saw what happened at the election, and this time, unlike any other election, we saw a massive participation from our cricketing fraternity, I would say. Couple of one actually contested, another top administrator contested, then a legendary cricketer has openly supported his brother and another party, and he was actively involved. I would say a bunch of guys who recently gave up cricket were actively involved with the ongoing politics, and we saw them on stage and very openly. And Avi, your thoughts about cricket and former, present, or I would say current cricketers getting involved in politics as a top-notch coach and a past Test cricketer? What are your thoughts about this whole scenario? Why I'm asking, because I was bombarded from the day that I said that Avishka is coming on the show. I got so many calls, so many, messages coming in, trashing cricketers for their involvement in politics. What are your personal views and professional views, mate?
Well, first of all, we should find out what is the reason if a cricketer wants to come into politics, or cricketer or anyone for that matter.
Yeah,
Why? Why are you coming into politics? I mean, they are representatives of us. They represent us in the parliament. They take our vote, and they are supposed to sort issues regard to people, right? That's why you come into politics. And I suppose to supporting someone, yeah, you could, but I don't see uh, why, or I don't see a reason why some cricketers, I mean, you and I know we can't mention names, who are still actively playing cricket, get on stages and go on and openly supporting politicians. And I simply don't agree with that, because you are there, you are a cricketer, you're supposed to play cricket. Fine, you finish cricket, and then you want to come into politics for a very good reason, just because you want to do something for the country, you want to represent, and with the right reason, I think it's okay. But obviously, when you look at how the things have been going, it's quite obvious it's not for the right reason. That's the whole point. That
there go people. That's exactly I share your sentiment. If anybody, cricketer or otherwise, that if you are coming with the right intentions, for politics to serve the people and the country, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, if you come with other agendas, for petty
I don't want to throw in names, but I know this cricketer. Every time there's a change in the ministry of sports, he's the first one to go and meet the sports minister. You know who I'm talking about. We don't need to discuss that. But
yeah,
why? Why do you want to go and meet the sports minister? I mean, in the days that we were playing, we didn't even see the sports minister.
no,
I mean, the only time I would see a sports minister is if we have won a triangular series or something. At the triangular finals, he would come and give the trophy and go.
absolutely.
And
That
and,
you're
and,
right.
and, 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 and you send the team for the approval. Minister doesn't see the team. It's the secretary who puts the signature and said, I don't think they even bother to look at the team.
You're right. I mean, the danger is that what you are saying, and what people don't understand. If anybody listening in, if you start going behind people and asking for favors, and the favors don't come cheap, because I'm telling you, you know it as well, and with my personal experience. And if you get in there through the back door, and someday those people are bound to ask you a favor back,
Yeah.
and that is where the pressure comes in. So to be very careful, what you do. You do not mix up sports and politics, because there'll be a payback day and you can be in trouble. So if you boys are listening out there, as Avishka said, with all means, get in there for all the good reasons, but don't go there with personal agendas, expecting favors from politicians, because you will be in trouble at the end of the day. And which is, that you and I know very well. And then that's the scenario. Unfortunately, that's the truth.
And also you get branded, isn't it? I mean, you support one party or one person. That shop will be there on you. Okay, he was supporting this guy, so therefore he's branded.
True. And as Shevan says, good to see you, good to have you on the show, Shevan. Always a pleasure. It's a spot on hour. Well said. Yes. I think you got your fan club, Avi. You might have to say hi to everyone who says good to see you. Chanaka Narendra Jayasekara says hi to you. He's in South Africa. Shiran Anthony, all the way from Perth, and another guy from Brisbane. I wonder whether they are in Sri Lanka watching this. We have like a worldwide audience. More than Sri Lankans. I suppose. At the moment, all the big hi to all those boys in Australia. It's very sad. What they are going through, and they are experiencing what we experienced 3 months back in a lockdown scenario. I was talking to some of the friends, and they're totally the boys. Some of them are really depressed and uncertain times, and I wish them all the very best. I hope again Jai Sasanka Berikrama, former Anandian, says hi to both of us. He's in Australia as well, in Victoria, and Mervyn Fernando. The people keep coming. I just don't know, and a big hi to all of them. And Avi, just I think I spoke to you off the stream. And Mr. Madhivanan, welcome to the show, sir. Good to have you. I was about to talk about what he mentioned to me yesterday. When I asked Mr. Madhivanan, top administrator, and unfortunately, we fondly who call me Mati, that he decided to step down from administration, which is I think a big loss to Sri Lanka cricket. I hope Mati will be back soon because he's a good guy. And
hi to Uncle Mati, one of those people who had done so much for cricketers.
Exactly, it's one guy who always been very very true to us, and who looked after us. And what he said was, he said a very interesting thing. He said, listen, mate, as cricketers from your junior days, whether the school or Sri Lanka cricket or whoever, the coaches have invested a lot of time and energy in us. When I say in us, as in general, as all cricketers, what he said was, yes, you are taught about leadership qualities. You have taught how to be a team man, and at some point in your life in cricket, also we have got involved in cricketing politics. That's the truth. So therefore, the cricketers have all the right ingredients to become a politician. It is nothing new. That they can get there, but like what you mentioned earlier, rightly said, get in there for right reasons, and that if you deep down, if you feel like you can do a good job of work and offer your expertise to people, get in there. But that did not happen, as you rightly said, Avi, and people got in there with vested interest, and now we are getting hammered in the media. That's the reason why I decided to have this show and to tell the world, it's unfortunate. Our sentiment is not to get involved in politics for wrong reasons, but neither we don't want to deny anyone wants to get into politics, but always do it for the right reasons, mate. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, we always said, it's again for the right reasons, and we it's like this. Just because you play cricket, you can't be a good coach.
True.
Right. And you can't be a good politician as well. Just because you're popular, you might win the vote. We have seen in the past, like even actors, actresses getting elected to the parliament because of the popularity, and then they don't know anything about politics, or they don't know what to do when they get there.
True.
So just because you're popular, like I said again, it's because rightly it's for the right reason. Just because the voters also should have responsibility to vote in for the right person, right? And like you said, it's for the right reason. If you go in for vested interest, then but if you go in with the right reason, it's good.
Yeah, and Avi, the thing is, yesterday one wrote to me. I don't want to mention any names, and actually he was having a go at our former captain and skipper Arjuna, and so I just couldn't. I just asked him, guys, this is not fair. When he won the World Cup way back in 1996, and he became a national hero, and all you guys applauded him for his achievements, right? And that's the truth. And now you are the guys down. That everybody is taking the mickey out of the man. Is that fair? And what the guy told me? He said, listen, mate, it is nothing against his cricketing abilities or the cricketer he was. We still applaud, we still respect, but we do not condone or endorse his political activities. It's a very good example. I'm sure that Arjuna is the fighter. You and I know that you played under him, I played under him, and what a fighter he is. I'm sure he'll come back.
He's a true leader. When it comes to cricket, I learned a lot from him.
Exactly, and I'm sure that he will come back one day, and that he will show what he is. And there's a question coming to you, Avi. Hi, Mr. Chai. Good morning. Good morning to you, Riza. Good to have you. My question to Mr. Avishka is, during my level 2 course 4 years back, Mr. Avishka was our mental fitness coach educator. He told us that the mentally toughest cricketers, the best way to put them under pressure is to make the session boring for them. If he can say more about it, did you say that? You always keep, your sessions very interesting.
I didn't say boring. I never say boring.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I probably would have mixed up. I mean, my sessions are interesting and short. And as you know, I mean, we've worked together for a long time and in many tours. I always make it interesting. If I feel at some point the boys are getting bored, you've seen, I've just basically stop and do something interesting because there's no point doing something for the sake of doing it. And a lot of my sessions are optional for the players. I
True.
mean, I give them the option because this is, see, I'm talking about the elite level. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the first class and the national elite level. I mean, they know what exactly they need to do. Uh, it also depends on what, like whether it's during a tour or whether it's before a tour or whether it's off season. So these things differ. Training sessions, the way we train, differs from time to time. Depends on what we want to achieve. So if it is during a tour or just before a tour, they know what exactly needs to be done for their game. You
True.
know, you and I have seen certain players, they don't want to bat for, like, they don't even bat for 2 3 days. They just want to go in straight into the middle and bat. But then that's fine. That's fine as long as they're successful.
Yep. I
But
think
if that routine doesn't work for him, then coaches come in. Then the coaches have to come in and see whether that routine works for him. Is it the routine that's you know that he's not performing? So it differs. I mean, to answer that question, my sessions are always interesting, and you should make it interesting. Don't do anything if it's boring.
exactly. I mean, that's what happened. I think the at the election, I would say that the certain parties couldn't keep their campaign interesting, and the people got bored. And you saw the result. Certain other parties kept it alive. And I've there's so many messages coming in. I think uh, I have missed out certain Kosi's. Kosala Kulasekara. Good to have you, son. All is Kosi in states. They say big hi to
Yes,
our.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Kosi is, yeah. It's you guys live from states. Good to have you on the show, Kosi. Great to have you. And I can't see who has sent this. They say, how do you see cricket in next few years? Uh, why can't we keep cricket out of politics and vested interests? Yeah, Avi, your thoughts? How do you see cricket in the next few
Um,
years? With the COVID and the change of government, etc., etc.
yeah, I mean, like I always said, there's nothing wrong with our talent. For some reason, from this small island, we keep producing lots of talented cricketers.
Yeah,
It's like I keep saying, it's the system. It's the system. The system needs to change. I mean, look at school cricket. It has grown, but it's the quality has dropped. The quantity has increased,
true.
and the quality has dropped. I mean, I think there are more than 400 schools playing school cricket in 4 divisions. If I'm right,
Yeah,
right. And first division there are 36 or 37 schools, which you're talking about 7 to 800 cricketers there itself, right?
yeah,
And in the second division, another 30. So in 2 divisions, forget all the other schools. In 2 divisions, there are 1,500, 1,600 school cricketers who are playing. Look
yeah.
at our first class structure. 25 teams, right?
Where in the Division One?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's
Yeah,
all playing first class cricket, all 24,
exactly.
25 clubs
20.
playing
Yeah,
first class
24
cricket.
teams. Yes, that's
You're
right.
talking
Yeah,
about 300 cricketers.
yeah.
And that's where the quality drops. You know, I,
Absolutely right. Yeah.
like I said, there's nothing wrong with talent. If we get our systems right, if we get our quality back on track, it doesn't take long for us to get back in track.
So what you are saying right now is there is quantity, but there is not much quality. So you are talking about like when you and I played, that the less number of clubs increase the intensity of the game, that let the boys fight for their places, and that then the quality of the game goes up. That's what you're saying basically, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you probably could remember the Division Two tournament is very tough.
True.
There have
True.
been players who got picked for the national squad playing Division Two tournament.
Yeah, you're right.
So
We don't have
because
a
the quality
system.
was that good. So again, like I said, you have to get the quality back, and it won't take that long if you get the quality back and the system right. I mean, let's face it. Come on. I mean, we have the highest number of votes to elect the governing body of Sri Lanka cricket. 147 votes.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I mean, I don't
true.
want to get into that, but that's the truth. You face it.
Yeah, and in
I mean,
fact,
out of how 147 votes, or I don't know how many clubs there are, how many plays cricket? There are
very
clubs that doesn't
interesting.
even play cricket. I don't know whether there are clubs whether they have a clubhouse even.
You're absolutely right. Yesterday, Mr. Mathivanan, just while talking, we were addressing the same thing. The voting system. We are not talking about the elections, the general
Yeah.
elections. We are talking about the SLC scenario you were talking about. I don't want to mention clubs, as you rightly said. They don't even have a clubhouse. They don't actively participate in any tournament. But
They don't play cricket.
they don't play. But interestingly, they have one or two votes.
Yeah.
That which is that's actually mind-boggling. That how come? And there are so many people asking how you guys see that cricket will go after post COVID. Yeah, I think in my view, I think the reason why we have this so many clubs and given them Division 1 status is one of the reasons why the boys, I think, soon after the season, if this COVID thing did not happen, and you would have seen that the mass exodus of players playing in England and Australia and various places. So in order to play there, they need that minimum qualification of having played that a number of games at Division 1 level. I think that's the reason why we have that so many number of teams playing at Division 1. Is that a good thing, in your view, that seeing that hundreds of cricketers on a regular basis, going overseas and playing cricket in other countries?
Well, in terms of when you look at from their point of view, they don't have a job here. Their job is playing cricket. So once the season is over here, they have to go and play somewhere else to earn money. And what they get here is nothing. Right?
True. Yeah.
What they get here is nothing. So they need to go out there and play cricket and earn money because, like we discussed at the beginning of the show, mercantile institutions and banks and all that doesn't recruit cricketers anymore. They don't have a job.
Yeah.
So they need to go out there and earn money. But having said all that, if the reason behind having 24 or 25 clubs playing first class cricket is for these boys to come and play 5 first class games, I don't agree with that. I mean, yes, we are looking from their point of view, but then we are looking at Sri Lanka cricket.
I get your point. Yeah.
Yeah, we are looking at Sri Lanka. I mean, simple. I mean, you were involved in the last season. The highest performers were the foreign guys who are Pakistanis and Indians who haven't played any first class cricket.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw one guy has got 300s back to back. He has played only one first class game, and he comes to Sri Lanka. He comes and gets 300s. So now you see the quality of our cricket. I mean, you can go on. I mean, I'm not criticizing anyone, but then what I'm saying is we need to change the system. It's not rocket science. I know people understand that. It's like what we said about vested interest. Cricketers going into politics for different reasons. Because of that, for vested interest, they don't care. They don't care what happens to the game, as long as their interest and everything is looked after.
Yeah, there are so many questions, Avi. They are all coming to you. There is, okay, Risa says, Mr. Avishka misunderstood my question. Example, Steve O, mentally tough, is batting in the middle and you are the captain, and make things boring in field to Steve, and the batsman get bored. Mohammed, he has, weird theories.
I think he must be referring to, I said a story when I sometimes come up with, my experiences when I used to do presentations for level 2. Once SSC NCC game, Aravind came into bat, and strategy was to make it boring for him. So
Yeah.
what we did was we got a very like a slow medium pace bowlers from both ends, spread the field around. We asked them to bowl on the fifth off stump, right? And he batted for like I don't know 4 or 5 overs, and he just played some shot, got out. On the way back to the pavilion, was scolding us, but our plan worked.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to make it boring for the batsman, someone like Aravind, because we know the moment we go in and make it, let him know that it's a challenge out there for him, we are in trouble.
You bring the best out of the guy. I mean, same with
Yeah,
Arjuna those days. Yeah, I remember that. We used to make things very boring for him,
yeah.
and then the batsman out there it gets bored. Very interesting. I'll keep that in mind. And certain players. As I had said,
And
tournament coming up.
with Arjuna, of course, always when he comes to bat, like during mercantile games and all that, what we say is for everyone not to say a word, not even support the bowler. Then he will try to come and say something and start something, because that's when he gets the best out of him.
Yeah, now you always try to create friction because that brought the best in Arjuna. And Hatim, good big hi to you, mate. How do you think we need to start looking at separate teams across formats? T20 is an example, like in rugby globally, the 7 players are specialists. Test and ODI cricket in Sri Lanka case gets affected with guys playing too much T20. This gives us better opportunity in global tournaments. Yeah, interesting. We probably would have seen, what Hatem is talking about, and he saw that England the other day, when they played Ireland, that day, I think they played a one-day before the Test match. Interestingly, the squad that they had, none of them played in the Test squad. So they had 2 different squads. So that's what I think Hatem is talking about. So you have different.
The thing is, yes, I would also like to have like a 2 separate squads, yes, but we have to be very careful. When we do that, sometimes we tend to brand players. Like best example, Dimuth Karunaratne was branded as a test player, ended up captaining a World Cup.
Yeah.
Right. So you put that seal on them, saying that okay, he's a red ball player or he's a white ball player. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 separate squads. I agree. We need to have, but don't brand them. Just because someone is in a white ball squad or someone is in a red ball squad, right? Does not mean that the guy who's in the red ball squad cannot play white ball cricket, and vice versa.
Yeah.
We got to be very careful when you do that.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you're saying. And Ajit Indra Kumar has written to me something very interesting. Guys, Dilshan has refused to accept MP's post. Reason, he wants to be elected by the people and not a list entry. Good on Dilshan. I mean, if he had done that, and if he refused entry via the national list, good on him.
Well, interestingly, that statement came out after they put out the national list.
Really?
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah. That's. I hope if Ajit is listening, that you heard Avi's response, to what you asked, But I think he, to be fair by Dilshan, I think he left the campaign halfway through. I think he went back to Australia, and he deserted camp, and probably after seeing his name way below in the national list, I think that's what he probably would have thought, that he may not get in. But Dilshan, being a smart guy, if he did not foresee the outcome of the election, and it's too bad, mate. I think it was a bad call. I think so many people got elected through the national list. If we had a bit more patience, probably Dilshan would have made it. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. So it's too bad, Ajit. I hope you got the answer. And there are a lot more that we want to discuss and we cannot discuss. And so probably offline, we'll tell you more about it. Good morning to Russ. Good to have you on the show. And Deepal Angama, good to have you on the show as well, sir. Too many clubs, 8 Premier clubs. what 8 Premier 1 and Premier 2. Yeah, this way the cream will go to the top. Having 300 plus subscribers are far too many. Yeah, exactly what Avi you said. You know, there are too many players, and there's only quantity,
I
and
think we
there's
must be we must be the only country who has so many first class teams. I don't know how many India has. Definitely, other than India, I know every other country has not more than 5 or 6. Of course, in England they have county cricket, but I don't think any other country has more than 300 cricketers playing first class cricket.
yeah, there you go. And you know, Deepal, and once again, good to have you on the show, Prasanna Pereira. Fantastic show. Thank you, Prasanna. Hawa is on a straightforward guy. Once well suited for coaching in one of the most corrupted institutions in Sri Lanka. Charitaya, high time for commentaries. Oops. Thank you, son. 642 schools, under 19 Division 1, 36 teams, Division 2, 32 teams. Oh my God, is that right? 642 schools playing cricket.
Yeah,
That's
I know definitely it's more than 400. I didn't know it was 600.
oh my God, you know, that's, you know, way too much, you know. Too many to tell you. Oh, Sham Impet. Looks like Awa had a late night. I won't comment on it. I let Awa you know, comment on it. Awa has a late night every day, mate. You know, that's nothing new. He's like Garfield Sobers. The best comes out of Awa only the day that, you know,
But
that he
now,
breaks rest.
now it has come down to late nights. Earlier it was early mornings.
True that, true. Sham, I hope you know you heard him, mate. You know that you know it's just late nights. You know, no more early mornings. You know, how you know just to ask you, mate. Even the time you played, were the same like you know that like Garfield Sobers? You know, there's an interesting story. I don't know whether you have heard about it, and I don't know people out there. I just you know to make this show a little bit interesting. What I heard that Sir Garfield Sobers had a theory that he openly broke the team rules, and you know he made sure that the whole world saw his activities, late night activities, a day before a game. So this the story goes like now the team is waiting, the management is waiting, the media is waiting to finish the guy off, you know, to have a bad game, and that was his motivation. The guy would never give up, and he brings the best in him, you know, when he goes to bat because he wanted to prove everybody wrong. And I believe, you know, like you had similar experiences with Brian Lara. And if I'm
Yeah,
not
I was just gonna tell you the story. In
yeah,
fact, when he got that double hundred at SSC, uh, I was not in the squad for that game, for that tournament, that tour. I met him at Taj around 2:30 in the morning, right?
right.
And he was quite, gone.
He
And
was
then
not himself, you know. He was,
yeah,
yeah, in
so I
another
said,
zone.
"Get back tomorrow." Then he said, "Are you going? Are you coming to watch the match?" I said, "Hopefully, if I wake up at this, no, you should come and watch." I said, "Okay." I said, "You should go and sleep." Right? Then there was like another quarter left in whatever that beverage that he was drinking, and he finished that in another 15-20 minutes and went up maybe around 2:30, 2:45, and probably couldn't even walk straight. Interestingly, I just next day he was going into bed, and I was like, oh, let's see what this guy does. Gets a double hundred, and I can remember I went to SSC to watch the match. He batted, and during the lunch break, he never went into the dressing room because he has got a small earful from the manager at that time, Mr. Ricky Skerrit. I can remember, tough guy, right? He
Right.
has got a earful from the manager, and he didn't go into the dressing room. He went straight into the nets, changed his gloves, changed his pads, ate a couple of buns, and 5 minutes before the interval, puts the pads on, gets someone to throw the ball, few balls, goes into the middle. Same thing during tea, and after the game he came in. I think he got 225 or something in that game.
Yeah, you know, are we, you know, like, you know, I mean, that you know if you know any players you know listening out there, and I mean we are not endorsing that you know to break
No,
the team rules, and you know don't do it, because you know why, from a management point of view, why we tell people before an important event, get your rest. I believe you know guys like Garfield Sobers, Lara, and including yourself, mate, you guys are freaks, that you know you could break rest till you know wee hours in the morning, and you could go and perform you're at your optimum levels, the next day. Then probably that's how you motivated yourself. But in general, lots of players can't do that, mate. I don't think it's that it's advisable for any player to go on a binge the night before a game and break rest, because the physical demands are such, that you can't get away. You probably will get away once, twice. And also with the game being so technical, and so many cameras focusing on you, and one slip and it will be shown at this
Yeah,
highest level.
I think the eras have changed. The game has changed. Game has got faster. The players are much fitter. I
Yeah,
mean, now you don't see anyone with a even with a slight belly. They all
true,
so
true.
they emphasize a lot on fitness, which they should, because the game has got faster, and they play a lot of cricket back to back. So they need to be fit, and they need to have that rest and look after themselves.
True, true. So the advice from you, coach: do not break rest before a game. And the season starting tomorrow. And I think, and I saw a tweet from Mickey Arthur saying that he's eagerly looking forward to the domestic season starting. That people out there need your support. And we haven't had any sports in this country for a while. Although England have started playing Test cricket, and some of the other countries playing football, and Australia and New Zealand, I think, a bit of rugby as well. But in Sri Lanka, we haven't done any sports since COVID. So tomorrow is a big day for all top cricketers in Division One, which is the Super 8 and the Plate. So the cream of the country, like I'm actually looking forward to it, Avi, because it's the first time we are going to see all the national players are at home, and they are all playing for their respective clubs. And it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be weather permitting. Of course, we have had good weather yesterday, and so far so good. I think it's outside little gloomy, but no rain in sight. And if the weather remains like this, it'll be a good day for cricket, Avi. What's your view? The domestic season starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I know it is. I mean, just playing 4 games just to finish the season, probably there is no motivation for the players as such to what to achieve. But yes, good to have some cricket, good to play some cricket and finish off. And if this LPL happens, it's a good warm up for the LPL.
Yeah, I think we need. I mean, just apart from cricket, I think the fact of the matter is, the people that we were before Australia and England and Europe. I think in probably Italy and Spain before us. That we all of us, we struggled. In a lockdown. We didn't have a lockdown. We had full blown curfew in Sri Lanka. Just and we were confined to our houses, and some certain people were getting very depressed about the whole scenario. And forget sports. People lost their jobs. People, and economically, that the country took a massive hit. And I think we need to start somewhere.
Yeah,
That get the sports going, get the economy right, and everything. So it's a good start, positive start. Hopefully, I hope that there won't be second, third waves, and which I don't envisage. To wish all the what can I say, the government and the people who are involved in controlling this pandemic, the full credit must go to them for the way they have handled it. And hopefully that they have given us, Avi, that's a set of guidelines, how we go about. And hope everyone will adhere to those guidelines and take precautions, and be careful, because the imminent danger is still there. It's not over. I mean, people should remember that. It's always there's a danger factor, although we are getting, but the life must go on. We can't be confined, and that's what it is. We have to get on with whatever we need. We have to go out there and play cricket. The people have to go to work, and everybody needs to make a living. And Kosala, it says, what did it say? Love to see you guys talking the truth. Even though I'm out of the country, I'm still worrying about corrupted system in Sri Lanka cricket. I mean, it's very sad to hear, even former cricketers, sharing that sentiment. Nobody out there, if I look at all the comments, in general, no one has a good word for cricketers or the system at present. Avi, how do we address this?
I mean, well, we saw this coming, isn't it? It didn't happen overnight. It was happening like over the years, and we spoke about cricketers getting into politics, but I think before cricketers got into politics, politics got into cricket.
True.
So
That's what.
then eventually it just slowly just got worse and worse, I would say.
Can
So
we turn things back? Do you, if I ask you this question, you probably will not remember because you were still in school, perhaps pre 1996, before the World Cup, the scenario was different. So do you think that all these manipulations and the corruption, and it changed the game only after it became professional and money started coming in? Is that the reason? Is money is the root cause of all these issues?
well, the money had to come in. I mean, eventually it had to come in. Like when I played my first one-day international, I got paid 5,000 rupees in '97. I mean, you would have got paid only like $500.
I can't remember what it was. It was negligible. How much I got paid. Yes.
Yeah. So money needed to come in. When we got paid 5,000 rupees, West Indies cricketers were getting paid $3,000. Right? We
Wow.
played the
Yeah.
same game. So
Yeah.
it had to come in. It had to be professional, and we were doing well, and we were going up the ladder, and all that. I hate to talk about administrators. We can start my line. I will talk about cricket,
Yeah.
and as it came along, everything started to change slightly. People got greedy. They wanted to come in, like we said, like we were talking about politics, going in for the right reason, right? Is everyone coming into the cricket board for the right reason?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can ask. I mean,
Exactly.
in '96 when we played the World Cup final, I played my last Anand Nalanda at Kettaram. I got 100. I still remember that, right? So after that, up to 2004, 5, 6, even up to 2013, 14, the game, no one got really involved in the game. They let the cricketers play the game, you know. And now everyone is getting involved in selections to, everything. Let cricketers play their game. Don't sort of, put your finger into that.
True. It's very interesting. Someone else wrote to me sometime back. I can't recall who it was. The problem in this country that, or even probably that's in the subcontinent, and you walk into a tea kiosk, on a wayside, like a tea shop, and ask for a cup of tea, and the tea maker will tell you how Tendulkar should bat. The problem is the guy can't make a good cup of tea. So everybody is putting their finger into cricket and telling cricketers how to play cricket other than doing their job. That's if people are professional enough to keep their focus in what they do, I think things will become easier for each and everyone. Avi, just a question. If I may recall the year that you captained Anand, did Mahela captain Nalanda, or you guys were?
Mahela captain after me. I played 2 years after I captained Anand.
All right. Okay, I didn't know that.
I captained Anand when I was 16, and then I played 2 years after that. Mahela captain the following year, I think, '95. He also played one more year after captaining.
All right, that's interesting. And you guys played under 19 together, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, from '93. Yeah, I was the under 19 captain. Mahela was my deputy, and we were the two youngsters in the team.
Right. Yeah. And Chamikar Mudulige say, good to see you. Just Mervin says that it's just not cricket. The corruption is omnipresent. It's all over, which is true. And I hope, I know, like as I rightly said, that the to tell you, Mervin, this topic is all about cricketers getting involved in politics. And we just briefly we said that if they are getting involved for the right reasons, it's all well and good. And if they are not, and if they have other agendas and trying to make inroads to getting back to the game or any other personal gains via cricket, which is Awa and I, we do not endorse. That's not the way to go. Awa, you cannot say that the cricketers should not get involved in politics. Good example. Look at Mr. Imran Khan, what he's doing in Pakistan. He's leading that nation, and no one can say.
Just about to say that, yeah.
Yeah,
like I said, I mean, I'm not saying cricketers should not get involved, I mean, cricketers, we have been groomed to play as a team, to support each other, to support one cause as a team, and and when required to lead the team, look after each other. I mean, there are so many secrets when you're playing in a team.
True.
The secrets that teammates have with each other, which doesn't go out of the dressing room, right? So even if you're angry with someone, it does not. Those secrets doesn't go out.
Yeah.
So you brought up in such a culture, and probably ideal for politics to go out there and do that. But like we said, for the right reason, if you have the proper intention, good intention, go out there and do something for the country. Which, I mean, I'm proud of Sri Lanka for what sort of Sri Lanka has given me, and for what cricket has given me. I'm like this because I played cricket. I mean, if I was
Yeah.
working in a bank, probably we might not have this chat today,
Exactly.
right?
That
If I
we
was just a
always.
banker,
Yeah.
right? So because of that, I'm very proud, and I want to give something back to cricket and the country. And if that is the intention of anyone who's coming into politics, uh, by any means, go out there and do your bit to the country.
Well said, Dava. And as another good example is Saurav Ganguly. I think he was offered the BCCA. They offered a ministerial post in the parliament, which he denied, and eventually went on to become the BCCI president. And the very he became a powerful figure. There's ways and means, and it's all about credibility and who you are, isn't it? That how you play the game and what you want to be. So if you have chosen your post cricketing life to be a politician for all the right reasons, do it. I think that's in a nutshell, that's what we are saying. But it's a little controversial if you're still playing cricket at present to get on political stages, and for with having got other intentions in mind, which is we cannot disapprove. And I think the message should be to the current crop of players: stay away from politics as much as possible, because it's not going to help you. That's the intention. HB Daratna from Bangladesh. Remember we HB, I
Yeah,
think he
yeah,
came
yeah,
to, good old HB came all the way to Sylhet to see us and spent
yeah.
to spend a couple of days with us, when we were with the A team. Uh, Current politicians getting involved in cricket is more dangerous than than past cricketers getting involved in politics. He's got a good point. He's got a good point there. And politicians getting involved in cricket, how would you stop that? That's massive, isn't it? That the politics getting involved in cricket. That's how we stop it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, like I said before cricketers got into politics, politics got into cricket.
Unfortunately, yeah,
Yeah,
you said it. That now it has become. It's like a virus that, like the COVID-19, that won't go away. That's it's very difficult. There is no vaccination to stop that. I think especially, I believe that in HB in Southeast Asia. When I talk about Southeast Asia, which is Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India, perhaps just quietly coming out. Pakistan, the politics will be there in cricket. Unfortunately, it's something that we may have to live with and to survive as well. Unfortunately, that's the way the cookie crumbles. There's nothing we could do. The politicians rule. And Leslie, good to have you on the show again, all the way from Aussie. Agree with Avishkar, cricketers have the quality to take up politics, but politicians do not have qualities to offer cricketers. Exactly what we're talking about, Leslie. Avi, that's what you said. The before. What did you say? The politics got into cricket before cricket got into politics. Cricketers got into politics. That's what it is. And that's the that's the truth. The ground reality as at now. The politics are going to stay in cricket, and people, all the
if
followers.
if 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 I am to give an advice for a cricketer after he stopped playing cricket, and if he wants to do something, first do something for cricket, and then if you want to get into politics too and do something for the country, yes, then you do that. First, you do something for cricket.
There you go. The first things first in life, people, that, there's a problem, like, Avi, you are one of the cricketers that, who after, you have a career, even though that you have a slight, setback at the moment, you have so many other interests in life, which you can make a life out of it. The biggest problem that I see with the current crop of cricketers, they don't have a life after cricket. They are lost. They have no other interest. But I see that in other countries, most of the guys, what they do, if they have money, they move out of the city. They buy a plot of land. They go do farming, or they go fishing. They do reading. They join as commentators, or they all have a life. With the current cricketers.
I mean, I was having a chat with Rahul Dravid a few years ago when I was involved in the Sri Lanka under-19, and he was involved in the under-19 India in the World Cup. We were talking about why a lot of nowadays cricketers, like especially national cricketers, why don't they come in for coaching after coaching, or like you said, after cricket, what they're going to do. I mean, we were having this chat, and what he said is it's like this, Avi, you play for 10, 12 years, and then if you do play for 10, 12 years for your country nowadays, you don't need to work after that.
Sure.
You're sorted.
Yeah.
So then I said, why are you in? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
So he said, no, I want to do something back for cricket. I want to do something back. And at that point, in 2014, when I took the team for the Under-19 World Cup, he has come in, but his head coach, I've never heard of. He has never played for India.
Yeah.
But Rahul was under him, basically understudy. So I asked him, I mean, what's your role? He said, no, I'm learning coaching. I'm learning coaching, and I'm just here. He said, of course, with our cricketing experience, when you see someone, you can spot talent.
Yes.
Spotting talent is one thing, coaching is another thing. So what he said is, we can spot talent. So at the moment, his role was at that time he was understudy with a more senior and a more coach which has more experience, and his role was to take a message back to the next level, saying that there is a good player here, we need to fast track him. And eventually, a year later, when India came to Sri Lanka, he was the head coach. He has taken over.
True.
So what he said was, I'm here because I want to give something back to cricket.
Now we see that the fact is, Kosi is still with us. That he's still watching the show. The fact is, the country, the institution, and the game itself invest a lot of time, energy, and money on you guys. That for being a national player, and that's a massive investment. And soon after, and if all our players, if you look at the number of past cricketers live in Australia, it's amazing. Like I think literally most of the players whom I have played with, they're all in Australia. There are very few of us, who continue to live in Sri Lanka, and the Australia have gained the wealth of knowledge and the experience that you boys have, and some other countries benefiting. Now Kosi is in States, that he has left the country, and there's a massive brain drain, and that investment the country put back on you guys, we keep losing. And those are areas, and you rightly said that people don't have money. By staying here, there's nothing to do. Post cricketing life, then you go looking for greener pastures, that unfortunately, and those are areas that I hope someday whoever who's going to rule SLC, who's going to lead the post-COVID scenario for the next issues, and that that one thing I raised, I don't think Sri Lanka cricket we have a pension scheme for the past cricketers. We don't, like.
I think some time ago they started, but it eventually just died off, I think.
Yeah, I think the Cricketers Association wanted to do something. Not SLC, not SLC. So I mean, these are little things that you can do. I mean, if your post cricketing career, if you have something to fall back, with no worries, we may see people not going overseas. That you have something to offer back to the game, so they will remain in the country. Then to offer some work, where cricketing wise, like what what you said, like Rahul Dravid. And if all our top cricketers starts leaving the country, then we are going to have a massive issue, and sooner than later. Mate, before we wind up, just the people, since they've been asking, school cricket has come to a standstill, and that you do a bit of coaching at the moment, and number of coaches, they're losing their jobs massively, because that's extra burden for the school to carry these coaches without any sporting activities. Do you see school cricket starting in the near future, any time? What are your
See,
views?
the thing is, school cricket is also under the education department. So I think the main decision should come from them. I don't think it's up to Sri Lanka Cricket or School Cricket Association can single-handedly decide that. They need to speak to the education department and take a decision on that. But I don't see why school cricket cannot get underway. I mean, obviously, now that the club season is, the rest of the season is going to continue. Once the school starts, I think the schools are starting next month or something. Once the school starts, I think they can go on and start their third term. I don't see why they shouldn't.
Yeah, they should. And there are so many other coming in. Lasantha Perera, as long as politics and dodgy administrators at every level are involved in cricket, cricketers will be interested in getting involved in politics. Exactly what you said, Dava. They will consider it as a stairway to heaven, resulting in many riches in short time. Sadly, this started a few years ago. Until then, the players were just asked to play the game, but there are a few still just play the game, which is true. It's still not everybody gets involved in politics, but there'll be few getting involved in politics. That's what Lasantha we were talking about. And as Awa rightly said, that he does not see a problem past cricketers getting involved in politics for all the wrong reasons, but for all the good reasons, I said, but not get involved for the wrong reasons, and especially the guys who are playing currently, to stay away from politics. That's the clear message. And Mohammad Riza Chandrika Hathurusinghe said he follow Pep Guardiola. Yeah, Pep Guardiola, the Man City coach. I follow New Zealand rugby coaches to update myself as a coach. Mr. Avishkar, do you follow any coaches? Interesting.
Absolutely not, actually, because you can get a tip or two from them, but you are yourself. I mean, you can't be someone else. You can get a tip or two. Yes, interesting. I mean, there are a lot of successful coaches where you listen to their success story or you read about it. You can get a tip or two, but my advice as a coach is not to follow anyone else. I mean, you have your own way of handling things, and if that has worked for you, why follow someone else? But of course, you can get tips from the experts. What you can learn the little bit, yes, you take into your game.
Absolutely. I think what you are saying, Avi, is all of us are unique. At the moment you start following someone else, you lose that uniqueness. So remain unique. Adopt your own style. Okay, there are certain ways and means. There are structures which we need to follow as coaches. But what you're saying is always be your own individual, a unique individual. In the moment you start following somebody, now you lose that uniqueness. Very well said, Awa and Kusal. Good to have you on the show. Awa, we had Kusal on the show 2 weeks back. He's an amazing, absolutely brilliant physio. Another talent that Sri Lanka lost. He and Dulan, they are both doing really well. Dulan is actually with Cricket Australia, and he's agreeing. He's saying that Sri Lanka lost a lot of talent with the ongoing politics and the systems that are in place, and Australia has gained, and Sri Lanka has lost. That I completely agree with Kusal. Manikam, Surendra Kumar, don't worry. Sri Lanka will get a good sports minister on Wednesday and sort all these issues. Hope so, Manik. That's below the belt. Deepal, interesting topic and good questions. Have to leave you guys. Deepal, thanks. Brilliant having you as always, and thanks for your support. And have a good Sunday, and we'll see you soon, Mr. Mativanan. I quite agree with Avishka. The cricketers should help cricket after their retirement. I always wanted to give back something to cricket because I got my first job due to cricket when I came from Jaffna. That's what made me to assist cricket, throughout my life. Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? To say that we spoke about Mr. Mativan and Avi. You said it's a great gentleman. One guy, I think, actually who has done so much for cricketers, given it back. And I hope someday that we'll see Mati back, where he's, rightfully where he should be. There's one guy who can actually help Sri Lanka cricket, and that he should come back. Ajit Jayasekara, good to have you, sir. They're all you are yourself. Super quote, Avishka. Yeah, so are you, Mr. Jayasekara. You are one guy. I always looked up to, great respect. I took over from Mr. I think Jayasekara as as team manager the other day when we had Rex Clementine on the show, and I just asked him, who's the best manager who you have worked with? He said, my friend, if you expect me to say you, said, sorry, it's Mr. Ajit Jayasekara. He said he's far ahead of you and better than you. And I agree, Mr. Jayasekara. It's always a pleasure. It's good to have you on the show. The Kosala Kulasekara, which I never forget, which I was out of the system and I was trying to give and come back. Awa told me, Kosi, come to Ketta and do your training. There you go. These the little things we have done, Avishka. Sometimes in life, you tell people you do the right thing, they always remember.
I mean, as a coach, anytime a guy wants to have a knock, wants to train, I always encourage. And sometimes you have seen how I take my arm and start throwing the ball at the start of the session. And sometimes everyone has finished training and gone, but if any guy wants to stay back and do, sometimes I used to throw till another hour and a half, and I would come back drained.
Yeah, that's right. The Mervyn is asking, Awa, no more cricketers in Parliament this time. I believe. I don't think so. I don't think no one. I don't think anyone got elected this time to the Parliament. Which is actually it's a shame that no cricketers in Parliament. I think the first time it happened, and not even via national list. They're all out. And Krishan, Krish, hi, Charitza, good to have you. Okay, good to have you too, son. And what are your final thoughts? Before we wind up, just anything you want to say to people?
No, nothing. I mean, I just want to thank everyone who joined in and on a Sunday, just to listen to both of us. And nothing. I hope we'll get the system right for the sake of cricket. Like I said, I'm like this. We are having this chat because we played cricket, and therefore I want to give something back. I know you as well. Our hearts are at the right place, and I hope everyone does the same. I mean, they come back and give something back for cricket. Our cricketers, past cricketers, administrators. I mean, you look at developing the game, and don't have any agendas, and just think about how to get Sri Lanka cricket back on track. And it doesn't take too long if you get the systems right and if your heart is in the right place.
Well said, Lasanta. We discussed about it. I think Dilshan, he was nominated in the national list, but he decided not to. I don't think he's elected either. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry about it. I think that's what I think. So therefore, there are no cricketers at all in the present system. I think even Murali's brother, whom he supported, I think he's out as well. So there's Arjuna is out. So the Tilanga is out. So I can't think of anybody else, and no other cricketers contested. Although a whole lot of cricketers, some are unfortunately some are still playing cricket, supported the election campaign, and which was pictures. I don't think that we can approve some of the things, getting on political stages whilst you're a cricketer, using your popularity to support someone else again for wrong reasons. We do not endorse, and we advise all our cricketers to stay away, current cricketers to stay away from politics as much as possible. uh, Mr. Mativanan, appreciate both of you because you guys are outspoken. uh,
That sometimes goes against us.
Exactly, Mr. Mathivanan, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, being outspoken, but that's the way we have been all our lives. That's the way we've been brought up, and we'll continue to remain the same way as long as we can. Do not give in to any outside pressures and be what we are. Mervin Fernando did Tilanga play cricket? Of course, Mervin. People don't know. He played. He vice captain Nalanda, and he played, so top cricket, and also he played for CCC. He played under me, and he did not play Division One, but correct me if I'm wrong. Under 25 tournament those days was considered top,
No, it's
first
not
class.
first class.
Really?
I don't think it was first class. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Yeah. So, but Tilanga did play, under me for CCC, so he did play good cricket, very good cricket, and he was a good cricketer. There's no doubt about it. And Ivan says the politicos should stay away from cricket, and cricketers should administer Sri Lanka cricket. And sports minister should be a sports lover and not a money lover. Keep going, just simple as that, isn't it? In a nutshell, that's how it should be. The very interesting point he has said, sports minister. You reckon that he should be a sports lover or a sportsman? What is your view?
Who are we talking about? Sorry.
The sports minister.
Yeah.
As the Ajit says, he said he should be a sports lover. What I'm asking is it important the sports minister to be a sportsman, having involved in sports at some level, or just a layman? What do you reckon? What do you think?
Whatever it is, he needs to have a knowledge about sports. I mean, you can't head or be a minister or a head of an institution if you don't have the knowledge about that. So
Sure.
yes, you have to love sports. I mean, in Sri Lankans, we all love sports. But I think to a certain extent, they need to have a knowledge about the sports as well, because it comes in various things. I mean, when it comes to cricket, there are certain codes, there are certain protocols, and if you don't know, you get someone who you really trust, and you get to know them, because you should know the subject if you're heading it.
Absolutely. That's I think, Ajit, just to answer your question, it's not only a sports lover. It's good to have someone who has played any type of sports, because you understand what sports is all about. Otherwise, that if you haven't done any type of sports, I don't think, my personal view, as Avi says, that he should not be the sports minister. Amit Pasala, a quick one. Everyone talks about improvements, especially in school cricket. Avi, give us a brief take on your thoughts and recommendations, please.
Well, improve quality, like I said, it's pretty simple. I always keep it simple. Improve the quality of cricket. It has grown, but it's grown this way, not this way. So therefore, improve the quality of cricket, not number of schools or number of games or number of cricketers. That will dilute the quality. So improve the quality of cricket. If you can cut down on the number of teams, or even at least the number of teams in Division 1, both schools and obviously first class cricket. That's one way of improving the quality of cricket.
Do you suggest that, I'm not too sure about the school's format, how they are playing. You reckon that they should change the school format?
Ideally, I'm not saying you should change the school format. I mean, nowadays, for example, the days that we used to get 1,000,
Yeah.
we get it in maybe 16 to 17 innings, and
Yeah.
a guy who's getting 1,000 would average easily above 50,
Yes.
right? 50 to 60 runs. And now you see guys playing 20, 21 games and they get 1,000, but they play 26 innings and they're still averaging just high 30s. So that's the example I want to. I mean, get into. I mean, you get 1,000 in 17 innings at an average of 50, 60. Now they get 1,000. They take 25, 26 innings, and you're
double,
still averaging 30.
double the nu-
So
double the number of
that's the
games and
difference of
innings.
quality
Yeah,
I'm talking about then and now.
yeah, got it. Yeah. So HB Daratna again, Charit Senanayaka, why not you start writing a book now? Your unique way of writing will be something new and special. Someday, HB. Now, one thing at a time. I'm enjoying very much my stint with BRC, and actually, I'm quite excited and looking forward for the game starting tomorrow. So perhaps someday when I can't throw a ball anymore, and one day I was throwing a ball and it was passing BRC, and I heard someone shouting, "What happened to the pace? The pace is down." Then I knew it had to be our. So I think I got my, since that day it was a challenge. I managed to get my pace up a little, and so I think my body can take perhaps another year or two the beating. Thereafter, I'll think about writing a book. Yeah, not a bad idea. Ricardo. So Charit Sanaka, just to repeat the question, since the cricketers are out of parliament, any chance of the politicians staying out of cricket? Our
I hope so. I really hope so. I really hope they concentrate on building the country. Let the cricketers and the cricket administrators and all of them start building cricket back again.
Yeah, Ricky, it's very, we can be very optimistic, that the politicians can stay out of many things, just not, so for an example, that forget cricket, what about stock market, things like that, so they can jolly well stay out of it and they let professionals handle in what they do, and that's all we can, we can hope and pray that the politics will stay out of cricket and all sports for that matter. Kosi, great to see you. A show midnight here. Keep doing the great things. Tell the truth always. Wish you guys all the best. Kosi, wish you nothing but the very best, mate. And look after yourself and stay safe. And hopefully we'll see you one day back in Sri Lanka. Yeah, that's it. There was something I was going to tell you about that. Just with Kosi's message, I just forgot. What I was going to tell you. That just before we wind up, just like what's with your, with I don't know. I don't think you don't want to talk too much about with what's happening with your issue, and I think there's an inquiry coming up, and says if you can just give an update to
Yeah.
people.
So for the people who doesn't know, sports minister finally after the former sports minister now finally after 14 months decided to give me the inquiry that I've been asking for.
Right.
Yeah, and heard us and given us about another week to submit our papers. So it's, I mean, I don't know whether these guys know the details of it, and I don't want to go into those details. And it's simple. I've challenged the charge sheet that ICC has sent me, and just to keep it short, it's regarding a T10 tournament which was played in 2017, and I have challenged ICC for that charge sheet. Simply that they don't have jurisdiction to start with to even send me a charge sheet because that particular tournament was not ICC sanctioned. ICC has now come back and accepted the fact that it was not ICC sanctioned. And the next question from us was, if it was not ICC sanctioned, how did ICC send me a charge sheet? What has ICC got to do with it? And from Sri Lanka Cricket, I have asked so many questions under the right to information legally through a legal document. They have been silent for the last 14 months. And if they got nothing to hide, I don't see why they need to be silent. I've just asked simple documentation because I've been sent a charge sheet under a Emirates Cricket Board code. I am bound by Sri Lanka Cricket Code. I am bound by ICC code. How did I get bound by Emirates Cricket Board code? So these are the questions that I have asked, And this particular tournament was not ICC sanctioned. It's a franchise tournament. And the team that participated in this team did not have the minister's sanction. And it's clearly a violation of the sports law in Sri Lanka. And so these are little things that I have asked from Sri Lanka cricket, not to put them in trouble, not to take anything out of them, just to clear myself. I mean, if the sports ministry or whoever wants to carry out an inquiry about them breaking the law, them breaking the sports law, or if there was money involved in that tournament, what happened to the money? That's not my thing. It's up to the sports minister or the secretary of sports minister to have an inquiry on that. I just need these documentations just to fight my case and clear myself. And if Sri Lanka cricket doesn't have anything to hide, I don't see why why they want to keep silent.
Interesting, Awa. Only my only concern is, if there is going to be change in the ministry, if there's the new cabinet comes in, can that affect have an impact on your ongoing case?
No, it's a 3-member independent panel. It's not done by the sports ministry per se.
Right.
Under the guidance of sports ministry, it's a 3-member individual panel that has started the inquiry. So I don't see why they need to stop or get involved in that, because it's now started.
It can be continued without any interruptions, despite,
it's an independent committee that is conducting. So I hope it won't drag. I mean, it's been dragging for like 15 months now.
True.
And so I hope it won't drag, and it will get over soon and get the report out so that I can get back into my coaching.
Exactly. If anybody listening out there, people, I think what we hear is justice. Where Avi is concerned, and it's been a long time. He's been waiting, and this has to come to an end. It can't go on and on like this. Whatever it is, that people do the right thing, and there has to be, as I said, there has to be some justification in the future, and would love to.
And also, I like to say something about ICC. Also, I'm being brutally honest. I had high regards for ICC and how they did things to keep the game clean but in my case, I'm very, very disappointed with them. How they handle how they're handling my case. Actually, I'm very disappointed. You send a charge sheet, and 3 days later, I have a press conference, and I challenge the charge sheet. And here, my counsel gets a call from ICC, says, we heard the press conference. Even before I reply, we heard the press conference. If he's willing to accept one charge, we can drop one, and we can just give him a small small suspension, and we can finish this. Why would they want to do that even before I reply? To start with, and then you send a charge sheet, you send with evidence. And so far, I've been asking for evidence. I've challenged the charge sheet. I've asked for evidence. 15 months, absolutely nothing. I know there's no evidence. I know. I think they were just hoping that I'll get that deal. They charged me, and when I challenged the charge sheet, I think they thought that I'll take that deal. Why would I want to take a deal for something that I didn't do?
Very sad to hear, Awa. That's, as I said, I hope justice will be served. That sooner than later, as Ricardo says, Avishka, hope all the troubles are cleared, and status quo will be re-established. With regards to your coaching at the highest level, good luck. Charit, once again, well done. Good to have you on the show, Ricky. People wishing you well, Awa, and Richie. Good to have Richie on the show. If you remember, good old Richie Diesel all the way from Aussie says Avi is a victim of the ICC system. I do think so, Richie. That he was made a scapegoat. When they couldn't catch the.
2018, they first made a statement saying that Sri Lanka is the most corrupt country.
True.
Right? And what have they done? And the most corrupt thing that Sri Lanka, the world has done, is me coming and not reporting an incident in a T10 tournament, which was not even ICC sanctioned. Is that the most corrupt thing in the world? These are the questions Sri Lanka cricket, and even the sports minister should ask from ICC. They come and make a statement saying that Sri Lanka is the most corrupt country, most corrupt cricketing nation. what have they proved? What is the evidence they have? If they have evidence, they should put out there and let all the people know. Why are we keeping silent for this? I mean, I am hurt because I'm a Sri Lankan, right? And when anyone comes and accuses Sri Lanka of being the most corrupt country, we should ask questions. Okay, if it's corrupt, give the evidence, charge the people, show the world that it's corrupt. No, nothing has happened. For 10 months, they stayed at Cinnamon Grand Hotel, enjoying all the luxuries. Sri Lanka Cricket paid their bills. They enjoyed a 10 months holiday and they went off. And 5 months later, they sent me a charge sheet. So, I mean, I don't see why we need to be silent about it.
You're right, Awa. As I said that, to me personally, I think, having worked with you in the past, and that knowing your style of the way you operate, and you were just with you and Nuwan Soisa as well, and that you guys were made scapegoats and right, a lot, what people don't know about the how ICC went about,
Yep.
the way they forced you guys, and literally, I think you were spared, but Nuwan was kind of abducted while at work, and they were given a free will to operate in country without any boundaries.
I saw how they came and took Soisa from the office itself. They came, they took these phones, they took his laptops, everything, put him in a vehicle, didn't even give a chance to make a call to his wife. And poor Soisa, I mean, I speak decent English, but Soisa doesn't understand anything. And he was taken into Cinnamon Grand, put him in a room, put cameras on, and grilled for 2.5 hours.
It's very interesting to find out whether ICC have that right to operate in that fashion, to forcefully walk into someone's. Forget about Sri Lanka Cricket. I think they have the right to go, being members of ICC.
Yeah.
What people don't understand, I think they can walk into my house. Well, I believe that's a contract that we have signed. That once you are with Sri Lanka Cricket, but someone needs to look at it whether they could come.
Other than Sri Lanka Cricket, they knew that they were coming.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, is that lawfully when are we bound in an independent country that these are foreigners to come and arrest you or take you forcibly,
take your personal belongings? I don't think even Sri Lanka police can do that without a warrant.
Exactly my point. If somebody walks into your house, the first thing you can ask, do you have a warrant to take you in? But these guys operate just like it's free willy, like nobody questions them, and everybody's under their under their thumb. That someone needs to look at it very carefully in the future, whether they could operate in that fashion.
I think we need to also educate our cricketers as well in future. Something like this should not happen. I mean, if by any means, if someone has done something wrong, yes, he needs to be punished. But before all that, they need to produce evidence. They need to prove and do it in the right way. So I think our cricketers also should know their rights. And if they face a situation like this, they need to know what they should do. I mean, in my case and in Soisa's case, Sri Lanka cricket has been quiet for the last 14-15 months. I played 10 years for Sri Lanka. I coached Sri Lanka A, I coached Sri Lanka under-19, I coached so many other teams, but they've been silent. It's almost like ICC and Sri Lanka cricket are working together.
True, because that's my other question is, would they have tried that their stunts in India or England or Australia? They would never have. It's just Sri Lanka that they have taken our kindness as our weakness, which someone should stand against them. And there are lots of good sentiments coming your way. Our Anat says that that you're a good. Her husband knows your dad and say that that you're a good guy as well. And messages keep coming. No, we are an independent country. Nobody has a right to do what ICC did. Whoever those who were running cricket in SL at that time, that's exactly what we are saying. Leslie says, how about a class action against ICC? Interesting, Avi. That's just to ask, whether that whether it's possible, whether they can go about the way they went about in your case and Nuwan Soisa's case, whether they have the right to do that. Richie, yes, this would not have happened in Australia, South Africa, England, or New Zealand. And we mentioned India as well. If they did that in India, they would have got killed. Mind you, Richie, not a chance. Arjuna gives his sentiments to you. Our SLC should back our national players against such allegations against ICC for evidence. SLC itself must be clean and righteous to act in good faith and spirit. Playing the game in good spirit is not enough. Yes, that's what we are talking about. The SLC should protect the players who are contracted, not only the players and even the support staff, which did not happen in Nawaz case. That's what we are talking about. I hope it will not happen in the future.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the national cricketers or the young cricketers should be educated. I mean, they should know their rights about if they face a situation. They will face a situation in future. You never know. So they need to know exactly what to do. I mean, there was another guy who was working in the cricket board. They suddenly just took him to a room in SLC itself, put cameras on him and questioned him. And they were not allowed to. And poor Sachitra as well, Sachitra Senanayaka. He was taken straight after a match, and they had been in the dressing room from the lunch hour itself, waiting for the match to be over. They have taken his phones, put him in the car, and they've said, I want to make a call to my wife. And they've said, if you want to make a call to your wife, you talk in English. He has said, my wife doesn't understand English. And late Mr. Michael de Soisa has to translate everything to him. I mean, because these boys, most of them don't speak fluent English. And with their British accent and all that, they don't understand. And if by any chance, if they say yes to something which they didn't understand, they will hold it against them.
I know what you mean. I have been in that situation that I have acted as the translator and for ICC on many occasions, and that it can be very awkward, as you rightly said, because our boys have certain limitations, and if you give the wrong answer to the question, you can be in trouble because it is recorded and you are on camera, and that's it's very tough on the boys, how they are going about. And this is something that we need to look at, how they can operate in an independent country like ours, with no limitations. That I think that was the biggest mistake that this country made. And if Harin, if you're listening out there, and I'm openly saying, it's a fault of Harin. Okay, I mean, he's a good mate of ours, but just inviting trouble to our country and just giving them a clean sheet, open invitation to just come and do as and when, as and when what they please, which they took advantage and put the whole system in deep trouble. That's what happened, and someday I hope Farin will address it. And not only that, as you rightly said, they ended up calling us the most corrupted cricketing nation in the world, and no one has challenged it
so far.
It's absolutely, that's it. It's very sad that to what happened, and no one. I think it's only you and I took up the challenge. And how dare you call us the most corrupted nation? Give us proof.
Yeah.
And you became the scapegoat. At the end of it, that's the sad.
And at the moment I hit them back, like within 3 days, I said I'm not accepting. I'm challenging, and I went out with all the facts which I want them to answer. They came back with a deal.
Exactly.
They came back with a deal. And I could have very well, if I was not going to fight for justice, I could have taken that deal, maybe get a 3-month suspension, and I could be working back. I could be back in SLC working.
Exactly. That's what the people don't know that the deal they offered you. Take one. It's like buy one get one free kind of deal that they gave you.
That itself is fixing.
Yeah. They try to fix you. Yeah, I know. That's people don't know about it, and it should be exposed. And you and anyone listening out there, and as you rightly said, you refused to accept the deal, and you decided to fight for your rights at a massive cost to you and to your family, your loved ones, your friends, to everybody, and a massive loss to Sri Lanka cricket as well, your services. And I hope if somebody listening out there, there is that you need justice. I hope the new minister or whoever who is going to be in charge of sports will look into your case and give you a hearing, and to do the right thing. That's what you need. You need justice, and you were like at the peak of your career when this thing happened, and then you lost a lot, which which you cannot take it back. So having said that, you're going to fight this out, aren't you, until the day that you want to.
I knew when I was fighting, I was in for the long haul, and I had the support of people like you all, my friends, my family, everyone supported it. They said, no, you have to fight for it, and they all supported my decision. I know all of them are still supporting my decision, and it's, to me, it's not only me fighting for my justice only. It is for all the other coaches, other cricketers who can face the same thing, similar sort of a situation in the future. And to tell you, after I challenged ICC has not stepped into Sri Lanka after that. They were here for 10 months, enjoying their holiday, courtesy of Sri Lanka Cricket's bill, right? And after I challenged, after my charge sheet, after I challenged them, after I asked questions from them, they have not stepped into this country.
At least you're fighting a general cause, and that you are expressed that your stand. And as everybody here, I said that everyone will support you, but as people, there are very little that they could do rather than giving their just best wishes to you and standing by you, because they know who you are. As Ricardo says, does the ICC have an axe to grind with Sri Lanka cricket or Sri Lankans in general? Ricky, I don't think they have an axe to grind with. Correct me if I'm wrong. Ricky is asking, does the ICC have an axe to grind with Sri Lanka cricket or Sri Lankans in general?
I think they also need to. I mean, ICC anti-corruption unit, those guys are paid, so they also need to show ICC that they are doing some work.
Exactly my point. I think where we went wrong, when the sports minister went and gave them an open invitation to come and operate at their will, that's where we went wrong. I don't think they have an axe to grind. That's what for cheap publicity. I think what happened that I'm just just going to open my mouth. However, what happened was the then sports minister was looking for cheap publicity, just to show the world that come and, I think what he expected was tell ICC to come and look into our affairs and to say that we are not corrupt. What happened was ICC in return made a statement saying we are the most corrupt nation in the world, and then caught small fries like you and Nwanzo Iza, and let all the other big fish to get away and put the focus and attention on just what they did. And now you have challenged their decision and they are running away. Then they are going to drag it as long as they can, because you are fighting an institution as an individual, which is impossible for you, which is very sad. That's the truth right now. I mean, I can see where the whole thing is heading.
And it comes at a cost as well.
Absolutely, that's what I said.
Now for a tribunal, I need to go to Dubai to face the tribunal. I need to buy tickets for my lawyers, sort out accommodation there on my account. I have to go to Dubai to face a tribunal, if at all they give me a tribunal.
There you go. As I said, I mean, you as an individual, and how would you take on an institution such as ICC, where they have unlimited funds and resources, and you are just a single man and you're going to take it on?
And they are inquiring, they are charging, and they are the ones who are hearing the case also. It's all them. It's not an independent body who's, if we have a tribunal, that they're going to convene.
Exactly. Lasantha, as rightly says, that we don't want to be too critical. The last government always opened the wrong doors. I think probably he's got a point that when you let these guys because they want to justify their fancy jobs, and they hit the easiest and the most weakest target. That's what they did, and they just picked you guys up, and over. And as you said, it's over a tournament which is not even sanctioned by ICC. That's very
It's a
laughable.
private individuals tournament. See, if the inquiry goes on, Charit, it's a can of worms that you open, because then SLC
Yeah,
will be answerable. Number one, how did you send a team for a private tournament and without the sanctioning of the sports minister? It very, very clearly says in the sports law and the act that you have to obtain the minister's approval prior. You can't even accept an invitation, let alone from a private institute, even from a country, without minister's prior approval, right?
true
So,
that. Yeah,
and we went and played as Team Sri Lanka. The name of the team was Team Sri Lanka. So, did we
interesting.
represent Sri Lanka, or who did we represent? When we went there are two Indian guys comes in and say, "Oh, my team has come," and we are like, "What's going on?" No, we are the owners of you. We bought you. And how can an Indian individual own a Sri Lankan team? And Chandimal was the captain at that time. Chandimal was the national test captain. And before we went there was a big article on Gulf News. I have all the paperwork to back what I'm saying. Right? I take the responsibility for everything what I say. Right? There's a big article on Gulf News saying that we've appointed Chandimal as he's a good leader. The owners say. So they're the ones who have picked Chandimal as the captain according to them. So who picked the team?
Very interesting. Very
Yeah,
interesting hour.
the national selection committee chairman at that time was Mr. Graham Labby. Labby says he has no knowledge about this team. He never picked this team. So who picked the team? There are lots of questions that I have asked from Sri Lanka cricket, not to put them in trouble, just to clear my name. And obviously, for obvious reasons, Sri Lanka cricket has been very silent.
Well, it's very clear, why there are certain questions that which they have no answers. Well, Champika is there's we got Champika here. Not only that, they had to justify the appointment of an interim committee at that time. So only way was to give into whatever they requested. Is that right, Avi? Was there an interim committee when you went on that tour?
2017.
That's what Champika says.
I don't know. The signatures on the letters are from Mr. Ashley De Silva.
Yeah, but he says there was an interim committee, and it's a very interesting question that
Yeah, but if there's an interim committee or whatever committee, the documentation should be there. No?
Yeah, exactly. Champika, you need to look into that, mate. You are the top-notch journalist here, and we need some clarity on that. I saw a message from. Okay, there are so many messages. Some people wants to open a fund for you. Avi, that's really nice of you, Mervin, even to think about it. I think lots of people have said, Leslie have said that we should start a movement supporting you, and which I think we should, seriously we should, and that get people to back you and fund you. A great idea, and there are lots of, even Coastal have said, Ava, we are there. Any support you want, we are there to support you. There you go. And I think all you need is that in Teva, that if you are called up for a tribunal, for an inquiry in Dubai or wherever, that please, I'm there. I think I'm ready. People and all those people who have asked me in support of Avi, yes, let us set up a fund. Take ICC on, mate. Everybody is saying take ICC on. I think that's the way. Don't worry and have faith. I think there are lots of you got a lot of support coming out your way from all the people who are listening.
Well,
And
like I said, it's not only me, Charit. I mean, in future, this kind of thing can happen to any of the young cricketers or other coaches as well. We cannot let something like this happen to others. I mean, by any means, if someone has done something wrong, like I keep saying, if someone has done something wrong, if they can prove it, yes, he should be punished.
Yep,
I'm on that page. But with the right, you do it in the right way. You have evidence. You prove all that, and then you punish him.
Totally agree with you, and that's the stand. And as Richie says, how we stay strong, truth will prevail. But I have my respect for you not accepting a deal with ICC, as this might set up our stance reacting to such accusations by ICC. We were naive accommodating anti-corruption team. That's what we were talking about. We got we got. I think we were declared LBW. Now that we have asked for for a DRS, and still the decision pending. This is what that's the scenario, isn't it? That put it in from a cricketing perspective. Right?
And the ball is clearly pitched outside the leg stump.
Ball, yeah. Okay, what Champika says is that no. After that, okay. So after your incident, there's so that's we have gone into an interim scenario. I think that probably is what what he's saying.
Yeah, I mean it's not about who's the management that was there. I'm just asking simply, this particular tour has to be in some document. It cannot be a ghost tour. No? If it is a ghost tour, then I cannot definitely fall into ICC's or Sri Lanka cricket's ambit.
Yeah.
It has to be somewhere. It has to be in some book. Then it is not an official tour. If it's not in the books, if it's not signed by the minister, if this team was not picked by the national selectors, then this is not an official tour. It's someone's private tour. If it's a private tour, ICC or even SLC does not have the jurisdiction to even send me a charge sheet. That is what I'm saying. It's not which committee was there or who's not. And I have asked for those documents. Well, there are two things why they are not giving documents. Either there are no documents or they have something to hide. Simple.
Simple as that. That's like this little. Perhaps it's not relevant to what we are talking about. Now that the 2021 World Cup is to be played in India, it is a new event. Also because Australia is now supposed to host an event in 2022. Does this mean that Sri Lanka will have to play qualifiers in both events? You want me to answer that, Ava? Because I spoke to few officials at SLC about Ricardo raised the question that whether now that the things have changed, whether we should still play qualifiers prior to the World Cup.
That's a technical question. No, we don't know what the system is, whether the system has changed, isn't it?
No, ICC have come back and they have said the status quo remains the same as at now, that we have to play qualifiers. We still have to play
qualifiers.
Yes, that's what ICC has said. About an hour ago, I said, I was about to say goodbye to you. Just said, then suddenly I looked at the time that that I have spoken to you for almost 2 hours. I didn't realize that we've been on air for almost 2 hours. That just didn't feel the time, the moment. I was keeping this topic at the end, just to bring it up and just to find out what's happening, and also to let people out there to give them some insight to a story, because not many people know exactly what is going on.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are things that I can't also tell because it's an ongoing inquiry. So therefore, I can only tell what I can tell.
Exactly, and but it's very interesting. I will, from a personal point of view, and with few others who have commented, we'll look into the possibility of setting up a fund for you, Ava. I know that will help you greatly, because people, what you need to understand, Ava has a young family, and he was just starting life, when this thing happened. He and Nuwan both, for that matter, these guys they have brought a lot of credit to our country, have represented, and at a time like this, I think it's our duty as humans and whatever, as friends, people who follow cricket, to support them. Please, I will follow it up and see the possibility of setting up a trust for you, and that you can take up this fight to ICC and not to give up. And that's the way it should be. It's so funny. Lasanta says, you better be careful now. You may be abducted and you will lose your job as well. Lassie, no, I'm not worried. Let them try abducting me, and I have no job to lose. So they better not dare try on me. So I know how they operate, and I won't be as kind as Awa. What he did, Awa complied to all their requests. I probably would not have. I would not have surrendered my phone. Or whatever. I would not have gone with them. It would have been a
But that's the
different thing.
thing. That's what I'm saying, Charit. In future, now, when this incident happened to me, I had no idea. All I did was whatever they want, I gave because I didn't have anything to hide.
True, true.
But now I know the system, and we need to educate others, other young cricketers and the coaches as well. If at all, if they face a situation like this, then they know what to do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, mate. That's the way to go. So, Awa, it's great talking to you, mate. As always. Wow, I have missed so many messages. It's not possible while talking to you, Awa, to answer all these questions. Okay, yes, keep up your good work, Chari. Just let's give some airtime and print media on the supporting Avi. Ideal time to take head on with ICC. I missed the early part of the interview, chats, and I just logged in. Good to have you, Jude. All the way from UK. Good to have you on the show. He's also ardent supporter of the show for years. Always, it's a pleasure. Without your support, we can't go on. And thanks again, Avi. I think it's about time. I know that you had a late night, as Sham said. And,
No, I did not.
I mean, I thought you would say that it's nothing unusual. It's and so I need to let you go on a Sunday. Thanks for being on the show. It's always a pleasure talking to you, mate. It's always I learn something. And if you have time tomorrow, please,
I'll drop in for a chat. Yeah, I'll drop in for a chat. Yeah.
And come for the match. And it is good to have you around because your expertise will always come in handy. And you know what to do. That it'll be players would like to see you. To see a person like individual like you still supporting cricket. So please drop in. We are playing at CCC. I think the other teams are playing in 4 different venues. At NCC, at Pisara, and in Katunayaka. So the games will be fully on. And are we all the very best once again?
Thanks, and I want to thank everyone who has messaged in and then given their best wishes for me. And I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who's supporting me, and keep supporting Sri Lanka cricket. And it's a game that we all love, and whatever the way that you all can contribute for Sri Lanka cricket to make it better, and please do so.
Mate, I think Avi, thanks Avi. If you can, some of the people who have sent you wishes, and Amit says that we should have a part 2 of this session. That it'll be Philip Smith. Avi, stay strong. If you know who Philip is, you will come out of it. Is your good name intact? Best regards, Tyagi. Good luck to you both. That's so many. So thank you, Mr. Mathivanan. Thank you. Thanks for being there. With us, Mr. Mathivanan was there for all 2 hours, mind you, the great stuff, and most of them, that they have.
Now since he's out of SLC, he must be relaxed and chilling at home.
I hope so, Mr. Mathivanan. That he's enjoying his time.
Less stress.
Without all the stress that he underwent the past few months. So, Mr. Mathivanan, have a good break, and to hope to see you back soon. And as Zava said, thanks a lot, people, for being a part of the show. And it's always great, being in front of a camera and just spending my Sunday. Have a great weekend and week ahead, whatever it is. I think the fun time is over. Elections are over. We need to get back to reality, people. And whoever work starts, I think no more holidays, midweek holidays, what and what not. Awa, good luck to you too, mate, with your coaching stints and anybody who wants to contact you. And hopefully I'll see you there tomorrow. And good afternoon and stay safe, people. Take care. Bye-bye.